Hello, it's Jay. Quick check-in with chapter 22, The Procession, in the Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. It is a striking section. I read the first 7 minutes yesterday and the rest of it today, and wow, I love reading this out loud. There's the whole thing of Hester looking upon Dimsdale as he is sort of imbued. He's got this purpose. He is in full preacher mode, but in a way that he wasn't before, because he has a purpose, and there's kind of a spirituality that's kind of buoying him up, even though his body is wasted. There's an energy that's come in him, and it's striking how Hester looks upon him and doesn't know him and worries that maybe that was just all a dream, or that was all just bullshit that he was spinning, and he didn't actually mean it, because he seems so, in this procession, the procession which is just wonderfully described by Hawthorne. Just the kind of the levels and layers. You can tell that this is people who are not that far off from England, and from the kind of vivacity and finery and all of Elizabethan England, that they, in some part, maybe they and their generation just before them has rebelled against, and to come to the new world to have this kind of more austere, kind of more spiritual life. At least that's how perhaps they would put it. So there is that. There is, in this section, Hester isn't able to go in and listen to him, but they just do this amazing thing of saying, like, she couldn't follow the speech. She couldn't hear any of the words, but there was the cadence, the sound, the rising, and just as he says it, it's like kind of just as a kind of a crescendo of this oratory. Yet at the same time, you could hear the sadness in it, and the pleading for kind of mercy, and for kind of an intimacy, and just kind of getting the idea. And like when Hester thinks about them in the forest, it's kind of these two sad people who've found a passion with each other, and how beautiful that was, but that they're just caught in their society's grip. And it's in a way that I think this book gets kind of boiled down to being about, it's a repressive Puritan society that won't let these two, just kind of be happy. But there's a part of it is just about how all individuals in a society, in a grouping, have these other pressures around them, and sometimes they come into conflict. And that, whether it's a Puritan society, or it is, Hawthorne's society of when he's writing, or us reading it now, it really resonates, of the kind of this kind of individuals, kind of maybe sad, lonely individuals, who aren't allowed to kind of do what will actually maybe make them happy, because of the larger dictates, whether ethical or religious or communal or political, within a society. But yeah, just that gorgeous description of a speech that we don't hear. We only hear Hester's listening to the kind of the indistinct, but responding to it nevertheless. Is just wonderful. We get these weird sections with Mistress Hibbins again, and Mistress Hibbins and Pearl, who are both kind of eager to kind of expose things that are happening under the surface. Pearl, as a young kid who doesn't understand and likes being naughty, likes kind of stirring the stick in, because she is the thorn that all the society kind of frowns on, and is a literal scarlet letter herself, a manifestation of their passion. That she rebels against it, and she rebels against her mother, trying to tell her to be quiet. But Mistress Hibbins is as well this other side of, this witch, this literal witch, that is what the narrative keeps on reminding us. She's going to get killed for this. She's going to be executed for being a witch in not too many years' time. Maybe not in this story, but she's going to get hers. That is just another thing of the control of the society, and things things that make this society uncomfortable, it either ostracizes and brands as bad, or it literally will kill them. And Hibbins is won't shut up. Is also saying, "Oh, you guys were in the forest, and I know the signs, and the sign of dark mark on them." And her kind of inviting Pearl is kind of a little, a little part of the to be a part of her a part of her thing, and we also get and so they're in fellowship there. We also get this continual thing of the mariner saying like, "Oh yes, your friend the doctor has also booked passage, and we'll make sure that Dimsdale will go on." So they all get to be on the ship together, sort of seemingly kind of cutting off their escape in a way, or at least ruining what would be getting away from this all. It's like, no, they're going to bring the main wronged party along with them back to England. There isn't escape. It's gonna follow them. Their shame or whatever is going to follow them there, which of course just really sucks. And to make matters worse, because there's so many outsiders at this gathering, this elector, a new governor, they they're all these new people are interested in the Scarlet Letter and crowd round and are noisy and crude and boisterous. So they're watching. It attracts the mariners to come and have a gander. And, even attracts the native people who've been, I think it's infected by white man curiosity, and in the end, it also reignites the interest of the townspeople who are like, this is 7 years old news, but like, oh, everyone, all the new people are looking at it, so maybe we'll come over and look at it as well. So she's as much of the focus of attention again as she was 7 years ago on the opening of the novel, of her on the block. That shame yet again. So, while Hester stood in the magic circle of ignominy where the cunning cruelty of her sentence seemed to have fixed her forever, she's fixed, she's nailed there. The admirable preacher was looking down from the sacred pulpit upon his audience, whose very inmost spirits had yielded to his control. The sainted minister of this church, the woman of the Scarlet Letter in the marketplace, what imagination would have been irreverent enough to surmise that the same scorching stigma was on them both? And stigma being the word there, like there's the fixed forever, it's like kind of nailed like on the cross, but there's the stigma, which is a mark of disgrace associated with particular circumstance, quality, or person. The stigma of a mental disorder or to be a non-reader carries a social stigma. There's stigmata in the Christian tradition, corresponding to those marks corresponding to those left on Jesus' body by the crucifixion, said to have been impressed by divine favor on the bodies of Saint Francis of Assisi and others, which we definitely have gotten a lot of this novel pushing Hester as a sainted figure for her being singled out, her being persecuted by her society, by her community for her so-called sins. So yeah. Another really good chapter. We're closing in on the end here. I think we're at 85 or 86% of the novel, and really enjoying it. It's really rich and just really it's one of these like you think you know the story, but not tell how well it is told and how richly it is told, and the language that is used. All right, I've been Jay. More videos later.